It's your boy, U-Goboy. That's Mongo, all right? This is the U-Goboy podcast channel. But before we start, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. We got unfiltered, authentic conversations. We got sports talk. We got drops. Oh, yeah. So, Mongo, what should they do?
Like and subscribe.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Juan Soto is struggling with the Mets. And I want to get you guys' takes. We're coming in hot because we got a lot to talk about it, respectively. Again, 4 for 4. We're all New York Yankee fans here. First, Mr. Enrique, then Sizzle. How do you guys feel about what Juan Soto has done with the Mets about 2 months into the season?
I mean, honestly, bro, I look at it as like a Francisco Lindor situation where he's just new to the team. He's still trying to get a feel for it. There's been reports out there by Bob Clappish saying that there's been like a lot of lack of enthusiasm in the locker room, specifically from Juan Soto. But I think he's going to be just fine. You know, like we talk about this all the time with Judge, where he's obviously one of the best players in the league, top 5 easily. But he's not clutch every single game. He goes through leaps and bounds, and I think that Juan Soto is going to be the same thing. Now, the only difference is that a lot of Yankee fans always talk about how much of a great situation that he had with the Yankees, and a big reason was because he was behind Aaron Judge and a whole bunch of other players, and he just needed to focus on being himself.
Yeah.
When he's now in Queens, in Flushing, he's now known as the man. You know, you're the highest paid athlete of all time. You are going to be there for the next decade and a half. Mm-hmm. So all eyes are on you, and you know. To me personally, you haven't really shown that you have shown leadership with all the destinations that you stopped in the league, and now you have to be that guy. And I don't think he's necessarily ready for the moment. He's ready for the check, but I don't know if he's ready for the moment. But he is a great player, a hell of a hitter, one of the best hitters we've ever seen. Defense, not so much. I think his position could be out of place, but there's no denying the guy's talent. And I think that even though he's just struggling a little bit right now and he's not showing enthusiasm as Met fans would like to, ultimately he's going to snap out of it. I think it's just the same thing that Francisco Lindor went through when he first got to Queens, and it's just going to be the same thing with Juan, except that he's now going to be known as the man in Queens.
Subscribe to the channel. Good stuff, Mr. Enrique, Mr. Rossetti. Sizzle.
You go, boy.
Oh yeah.
I've got a short term and a long term perspective.
Okay.
Short term. Hey, yo, Juan. ¿Qué lo que, papi? What happened? It's what you wanted, yeah? You wanted to be the guy.
Oh, yeah, keep those
So
going.
now you in Queens.
Is this what you want?
But uptown, it's different uptown. You feel me? So, hey, man, look, at the end of the day, he has 8 home runs on the season. It's probably not where he thought he would be. This is an adjustment, but, I won't be too hard on him. You're going to be there for, like Jason just said, at least a decade and a half.
15 years contract.
So therefore, you got a lot of time to change the perspective and minds of Mets fans. And, just take it easy. I mean, I just hope that's the thing about when you play for a New York team, the expectation is so much higher than everywhere else. So you can't let that get to you. Like I say, Mets are not doing necessarily bad. They're second in the division.
Yeah.
It's a lot of baseball.
They're about 500.
You know?
Yeah.
So there's nothing to be concerned about. You can tune out the noise. I think the heat is going to turn up some come postseason.
Yeah.
You can make everybody forget about what's going on right now if you show up in the postseason.
Oh, yeah.
Straight up.
Oh, yeah.
So, I'm not going to be too hard on him. But this is what he wanted. He wanted to be the guy, and you got to play like the guy. So, I don't really have any remorse for your play, respectfully. And if I'm being honest, just watch how the captain on this side handles the pressure. That's the best advice I can give you.
Don DeMarcos. Keep him going. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Keep him going. Keep him going, Marvelous.
That's all I can say.
That's why they call him the sizzle.
That's why he's sizzling over there. Sirloin over there. Red Lobster over there. I love it.
Eat it well, please.
That's what we do here. That's what we do. To just go off of that point, you chose this life, Mr. Soto. Where's my camera? You chose this. You were playing with the best player in the world. There's only 2 top players in baseball. It's Shohei Ohtani and Aaron Judge, in whatever order you want to put it. And then everybody else. You chose to leave that for money. Okay? It wasn't because of the suite or perks with your family or your own parking space or your own popsicle, whatever. You chose to leave the Waldorf Astoria to go to the Holiday Inn Express over in Flushing. All right? You chose that. All right? Aaron Judge is the best player on the planet. You think you're going to be, and you decided to leave that to go play with Pete Alonso and Mark Vientos? And Francisco Lindor and Brandon Nimmo? Whoa! Okay, so of course your pitching is going to look a little bit different going there. Not to mention a 314 porch that gives you an extra 15 or 20 home runs a year. You don't have that anymore. Nope. You don't have that anymore. So no one on this table feels sorry for you. And you yourself, you asked for this. You asked to be the man. You asked to be the Batman. Because with the pinstripes, there's only one Batman. There's only one of them. Really, there's only two of them if you include Cole. But hitting-wise and in the lineup, there's only one. All right? Mr. Judge. Senor Judge. All right? The leader of the evil empire. So continue to struggle. All right? You're officially an op forever. For the next 15 years, you're an op. And I was at the Subway Series game. I was at Game 3. I was there. Okay? I'm going to splice some of that footage into this episode.
Grand Slam! Grand Slam! Grand Slam, baby! Woo!
I was there. All right, grandstand, section 414, baby. That's my usual spot where I get to see everything. All right, the lines were insane, but I was there. I got to see you in 4K not get a hit. All right, I got to see in 4K Bellinger, your replacement, hit a grand slam to win the game. Mind you, with the Yankees, Trent Grisham has better numbers than him this year. Okay, yeah, let me say that one more time. Trent Grisham has better numbers than Juan Soto this year.
Emotional damage.
Has more hits, has a higher OPS, has a higher batting average, the whole nine. So again, Mr. Soto, Senor Soto, all right, Juan, first of his name, you asked for this life. But the Yankees, like I said, and like all of us said, when you decided to go over to the Holiday Inn Express, we'll be just fine. Because in the Bronx, we compete for World Series pennants. In Queens, you compete for divisional pennants, maybe NL pennants or whatnot. That's the difference. Go Yankees. I rest my case. Pipe bomb.
Tell me when I'm telling lies.
Mondo, floor is yours.
Yeah, so there's a reason that the Stephen A. Smiths of the world, you know, the storytellers, are making millions doing this, and I'm here at the Great Bravery Studios as a math teacher on my day off. Because
Savage.
we tend to Savage. Radio Studios. We tend to ignore stats, and we got to look at the stats here for a second. So just Manny Machado, just for a second. I'm picking him specifically. Okay. Yeah. Him and Soto, same exact number of at-bats this year. Soto's got him by 2/10 in the WAR category, has 5 more home runs than him. Machado's got the better batting average. But, oh no, it's not like Soto, relative to other household all-star names, is way behind. I mean, he's having the same, it's a vanilla season, but it's not like he's light years behind the other household, you know, all-star names. And as long as we're talking about the Padres, the amount of time he has spent with the Mets is almost identical. It's literally 3 less games and 5 less at-bats than when he initially got traded to the Padres in 2022. So it's a fairly identical sample size. And in that time versus now, it's, again, the exact same number of hits. It's the exact same WAR. It's within 2 RBIs, home runs, doubles. So it's not like we haven't seen this from Juan Soto before. And in case you're wondering what happens the next year, he plays all 162, has over 700 plate appearances, 35 homers, 109 ribbies, finishes 6th in the MVP voting. So we know, we've seen this before, and we know what can happen next. So it's not about the stats here. It's about the narrative. It's about the perspective. And to me, the narrative here is not the money, because this is going to become like quarterbacks in the NFL, where just whoever's up next will become the next highest paid, and so on and so forth. So this isn't about the money narrative. This is about the New York narrative. You know, in a city where biggest splash wins, the Mets won this offseason.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and that's weird here, because we had a little role switch, right? Mm-hmm. And so the Yankees decided to diversify. The Mets went on. I mean, the Mets' they had good re-signing this year, but the Mets' second biggest offseason acquisition is a tie between Clay we'll make a start out of you yet Holmes, and Frankie, maybe one day you'll play Montas. I mean, these are not good moves. They went all in.
Big Savage.
And what ends up happening as a result is over in Yankee land, I mean, you get things like Devin Williams was bad. I mean, he's figured it out now that they've taken the pressure off of him, but he was just historically stank for 30 games.
Facts.
But you don't care because you can look at
Sonny Gray
Goldschmidt
2.0.
Right.
Yeah.
You can look at Goldschmidt batting 330 something. You can look at Bellinger on pace for 20 homers, 10 stolen bases. When you diversify, it's not as critical that everything is as perfect. I mean, any math teacher, any stockbroker will tell you that, right? So to me, this isn't necessarily, about the Mets so much as it is the Mets compared to the Yankees. And you mentioned Trent Grisham. I mean, again, just to look at the stats real quick, Soto this year, less homers than Grisham, less stolen bases than Volpe, and less RBIs than Ben Rice, which to me is particularly weird because dude was leading off and wasn't even projected to make the lineup when everyone was healthy. Now he has more RBIs than Juan Soto. And as a statistician, I know I'm committing the cardinal sin here of cherry picking, but those three guys are super important in this conversation because they were all there last year. And the one thing that was traditional about the Yankee offseason this year was that they overreacted. I mean, they were on the precipice of a World Series, and I know the Dodgers dominated that World Series, but in the current era we're in, every World Series is basically a 50-50 endeavor. Because if Aaron Boone doesn't manage Game 1 with the ridiculousness of like a kid doing one of those create your own ending, follow the night into the dungeon style books, if Aaron Judge doesn't have a hole in his glove, if they can get to Walker Buehler at all and get him out of the game before 5 innings, it's a totally different World Series. But it didn't stop the Yankees from completely rebuilding, retooling this offseason. And so the fact that it's those guys who were there last year who should have that hunger, who should have that desire, who are outproducing Juan Soto, who are helping us make us forget Juan Soto, that's important. And so I know you started this by saying, we'll cover Juan Soto even though we're a Yankee program. The bottom line is this is about the Yankees, guys. This is about the fact that the Yankees won this Juan Soto decision. And so, Soto's going to be fine because he is fine by his standards. I mean, we've seen these stats be fine before, and he still got the bag of money he did this year. But this is about the Yankees and how smart this decision was for them and this offseason was for them.
It's your boy, U-Goboy. And my friends at New York Posse, they're going to hook you up with some official gear. The Knicks are hotter than ever, and they're going to get you right with some official snapbacks, beanies, official gear, official like tissue, baby. Hit that promo code below, 2024, get 20% off on all New York Posse gear. Hit the link below, and they're going to get you right. It's your boy, U-Goboy. Yahtzee.